It's very simple. We're going to be talking about transformational trends, and the focus will primarily be structured around the healthcare professional. I took a quick poll before this conference began to find that most people feel this looks a lot like the individual that they're reporting to right now. You guys follow that? But anyways, we're going to be taking this and we're going to be looking at transformation. We're going to be looking at not what we're doing today, but where we are going to be in the near future. And so there's no better way, I think, to set the stage. I had two objectives with this slide. One, to set the stage, but two, to really, really impress my kids. I have 3 teenage kids, and they said, "Dad, are you actually going to use an audio clip from the Black Eyed Peas, Boom Boom Pow, to kick this off?" And I said, I absolutely am, because what we're talking about today, and again, to set the stage for this presentation, is the first 2 lines here by Fergie. So without further ado.
3008, you sold 2000 and late. I got that boom, 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 that future boom, boom, boom. Let me get it now. Boom, boom, boom.
Gotta get that boom, boom, boom. Gotta get that boom, boom, boom.
So there you are, just a little bit to wake you up this morning, to set the stage as to what we're going to be talking about. We're not going to be talking about 3008, but we are going to be talking about what's been 2000 and late, and we're going to be talking about the future here in the upcoming year. So what's the first one? Well, this was talked about earlier, and Lisa, you had mentioned in your introduction. It's all about mobile. It is all about mobile right now, and physicians are just like us. They are just like us. Last week, as an example, I woke up 3 o'clock in the morning. One of the kids were up with a cold. What was the first thing that I did after getting them settled? I was on my BlackBerry. Woke up, went to a presentation that morning at a leading pharmaceutical company. Going into the meeting, I have all of my colleagues working their smartphone. In the meeting, they're working their smartphones. As soon as we get out of the meeting, they're working their smartphones. Later that day, my wife and I are out searching for a couch. What's she doing? She's working her smartphone, trying to figure out what consumers are saying that bought couches like the couches that we're looking for. Physicians are just like us, and they're on these all the time. And so with this marketing transformation that we're in, it is shifting to the third screen. It's there. You need to be there with what you're doing from a marketing perspective. And we're going to talk a little bit later on about what people are calling the fourth screen. And we'll spend a little bit of time there. But certainly this is an area that you need to be focused on because your clinicians are there. So let's talk a little bit about when we say they're there. What does the research tell us? And I'm not going to go through these bullets in great detail. But what you will see is a transformational shift towards physicians using mobile technology, using reference tools at and around point of care. And if you look at what they're using them for, it has everything to do with the medications that you're looking to promote. And this is data that's come from a few different sources. You see referenced at the bottom there. 100% of medical schools, instead of handing out large books anymore, they're starting to hand out the books on mobile devices. Physicians are using these devices, and we need to, as good, smart marketers, be figuring out a way to integrate our message in there, not necessarily in an overt, just awareness or sponsorship model, but how can we evolve and be part of their workflow, which is incredibly, incredibly important and moves us up the value chain. So shifting, this is a slide that I thought you would all find useful, but maybe somewhat rudimentary, and that is the shift is towards iPhones right now. We look at Skyscape and the work that they've been doing in the space, and over the last year, a phenomenal shift into the use of iPhones. Now, if you read the Wall Street Journal and other publications, the launch of the Android phone that's coming out, there's supposed to be a significant shift to the Android phone over the next couple of years. So you need to be watching that. But what you want to be looking for, obviously, in a partner is someone that can deliver messaging, content, digitize some of your tools, and work across all of these devices, not necessarily just the iPhone, because we may be here a year from now and Android may be up at 30 or 40%, and the iPhone may have dropped back to 30 or 40%. We just don't know that right now. So you need to be out there and working across all technologies. So what are, from a physician's perspective, what are they doing in the mobile space right now? Well, they're using tools that help them with diagnosis, provide them with the ability to look at drug-drug interactions, food-drug interactions, decision support tools, medical alerts. That's all coming into their mobile device where it used to be received either on the internet or through some type of publication that they received in their office. Not necessarily rocket science, but that's what they're doing right now. So from a marketing perspective, how do you go from, or how do you leverage these technologies where down at this left end of the continuum, it's awareness, sponsorship, news alerts, new information on your products. But how do you work up the continuum and get into the place where you can deliver significant value? And that's being integrated into the workflow. I was speaking to a physician just the other day on some of these technologies that he uses. He's a primary care physician out of Virginia. And Dr. Bond was sharing with me and saying, you've figured out a way to sneak into my workflow. And he almost said that like there was a positive to that, but also it was a little almost disruptive to him. But these types of technologies are there, and they can be leveraged very significantly for the communication of your marketing messages. And I think here, this gentleman says it best when he's talking about the mobile tsunami coming into the physician area. And our job as marketers is to determine creative ways to get our messages in there, to make our tools that we give our representatives, whether that be patient education material, whether that be clinical reprints, whether that be samples, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a moment, to get those in there and integrate those into the workflow in a highly contextualized fashion so that our clinicians are seeing value and we have our brand right in there where the physicians are working. And even taking tools that may be unique to our product. Why would we only want to have a hard copy or up on the web a dosing calculator? Why would we not put that right into these devices that these clinicians are using at and around point of care? Makes perfect sense, and we'll talk more about that here in a moment.